practice go, Coach?
It was a good day. I thought the guys had good energy. I mean, I think when that's the goal. You're in week 10, right? What teams have good energy and are practicing, getting better. And I really think even though our tempo of our practices are way lower than they have, well, not way lower than they have been, but we had 3 or more linemen go down, so you just can't rep as many as you have. But I think the intensity mentally and the focus was there.
There's a really uncertain situation with quarterback at UCLA, and ironically, all 3 quarterbacks that could play this week actually played last week. Does that kind of help when you try to prepare for a quarterback that you may have not seen earlier in the season, but I get to see one?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because when you see guys play in different stages of the game, they're all different situations. So how much are they calling a game to, when you don't prepare for a starter, right? How often are they calling that game based off of the game plan? Are they calling that game based off of that starter's ability? How much of what that starter's strengths are in the game plan? So, okay, they may have a runner that starts this week, but they haven't had it in weeks past maybe. Well, how much of those running schemes were built into the plan for him? So it's really hard. You got to say, okay, what is this guy's strengths? What are these guys' strengths? And what has the coordinator done with the past with people like these strengths? But I don't think you can just carbon copy and say, okay, this guy's thrown it 80% of the time he's been in and run it 20. Well, he's been in the fourth quarter when they were down. That's, so I think you have to kind of read and predict a little bit what's going to happen based off what the coordinator likes to do and then with the skill set of the player.
You've got a lot of young players that are getting experience based on the injuries. How much can that, even though it's growing pains now, help moving forward?
Oh yeah, it's huge. I mean, we had a true freshman walk off on punt return. That's awesome. That's unbelievable last week. We have guys working right now. We have a guy in the top 7, true freshman walk on in the top 7 up front. And those things are unbelievable experience for those kids to get those reps early. And it's only going to make us better in the future. But for me, I'm worried about the right now. I'm not worried about the future until the future comes. I'm worried about how can we be the very best this week? How can we be the very best today? It's not about just building for the future. It's we want to build for the future, but I also want to freaking win. So we're going to do everything we can to win the football game, put our players in the best position to win. Also knowing by default, the future is getting built at a little bit faster rate because of, the unfortunate injuries.
Although UCLA's quarterback situation is a little uncertain, their run attack has been consistent for a bulk of the season. What are the challenges with facing rush attack?
Yeah, you got to have correct fits. I mean, this is a team that's going to put different formations and motions with their inside zone, with their G lead, with their outside zone, backside inserts, with their extra duos, where they bring 2 to 3 guys back, wideouts back, slipping across the formation if you're a man team. So you got to be able to understand where you fit in the scheme because you don't know exactly what you're going to see. Formationally in motions, you just know what the end game is going to be. So you have to be able to know where you fit in the puzzle, but you've just never done this specific puzzle before.
Coach, how much of a challenge has it been to deal with the injuries, especially up front?
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge. You'd be lying to say it's not a challenge, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's a challenge. And, you either rise to the occasion or you quit. And, we're going to do more creative things. If more guys have gone down, you got to get a little bit more creative. We'll be more creative this week. And some people will call it tricky and goofy, whatever it is. It doesn't matter to me. It's what I think is the best position for our football team to go out there and score and win. And it may not be conventional, but it doesn't matter. Because it's what I think is best for our football team. And some people will like it, some people won't like it. I really don't care.
Coach, how do you game plan for all the motions and different sets you're going to see from physicality this week?
You just got to teach your guys the fits. Line up in this formation, what's the fit on this run? This formation, what's the fit? Bonus to hat. How do we fit if they gain a hat? Right? Well, it's the same fit. You just add extra. You're outside the fitter. Right? What do you got to do when they motion and bring the dude back? If you're chasing, you better get back vertical so the ball doesn't bounce outside you. Right? And get back downhill. So you just practice all of the pictures they create from just random things. You don't practice what they've done. You just practice random things that fit what they do. And I mean that. That's a philosophy. There's a lot of defenses who practice like that when you play teams that aren't copycat teams, which means they don't copycat what they did the week prior. You just got to go out there and do random formations that they haven't done and run their plays with their motions so your guys can just fit random things correctly. It's not about the actual formation or the motion. It's about the fit based off of where the people are. So,
Coach, this is high-end stuff you're talking about. Do you have guys that can keep up with that?
Yeah, I mean that's football. That's good run fits, to be honest. It's just different because of all the motions and the formations. That's why he does a good job. Is some teams you're going to line up and they're going to say they're going to get in 2-by-1. They're going to run counter OY to the boundary and throw RPO slants. Hey, so we're going to take the boundary safety and play the boundary post. We're going to take the boundary nickel and we're going to jump inside the slant and corner the cat the corner. All right, that's our answer. And it's great. You call it, it works. The guys are hoorah. Then you play teams that it's not copycat. You're not going to be able just to say, see, we saw this exact thing on tape. You're going to say, see, they did this same thing 3 weeks ago from a different formation. This is the fit. Y'all remember we did that drill, right, where we fit all these? And then the guy's got to be able to adjust and fit correctly. And that's why he's been such a high productive coach in the run game, is he varies it up and mixes it up, and he puts players in position to have to think and react and, stay really, really fundamentally sound.
Same concept, lots of different looks.
Lots of different looks.
How's the focus and the vibe been now in recent weeks compared to like good teams that you've been on?
I think pretty good, to be honest. I really do. I think early in the year, offensively, it was average. I actually think that has gotten better. The intent and the focus of practice and seeing signals and calling signals out. At least offensively, I haven't been around the defense as much, unfortunately, that I would like to be. But I definitely, throughout practice, I can feel a little bit more of an urgency and the buy-in to the detail. And like I said after the game, that doesn't always mean you're going to get results. Doing crap right doesn't always mean it's going to be a positive output. Being a good person doesn't mean the good. You're not always going to get the promotion because you're the good person. But at the end of the day, if you do things right, or if you're a good person, continually and long enough, in the long game, in the end game, you're going to win. You're going to be better than those people who took shortcuts, who don't do things right. I think our guys are learning that process, and you can't get frustrated with the result. Like I said in my press conference, it's a results-driven business and hobby for people, but it's a process-driven, right, profession, process-driven. We're not focused on the result, we're focused on the process. And nobody's going to see the process other than really you guys and our players, and that's it.
Coach, I mean, obviously, I know you said you didn't want to be in position with the injuries, but in getting ready for a team and, saying it's gimmicky or, people might not like it, but do you feel that it's tougher to prepare for a team that might have to do stuff like that?
I mean, maybe. But obviously, if it was better to just be gimmicky all the time, there'd be somebody who's coaching at like Auburn or Georgia, right? That would be gimmicky all the time. Right? Football is won through toughness, physicality, extreme effort, and detail. Like, who can do this, who can block, who can tackle, and who can do things right. That's where the game is won. And the best teams in the country, they block, they tackle, they run people over, right? And they do it right over and over and over and over again. That's why I say it's not a schemed game. Football's very, very, very simple. It's culture-driven. The best cultures in the country win. And culture takes time. There's no shortcut to a culture. You can't just show up here and say, hey, we're going to hit people and be physical, and 9 months later be the most physical team in the country. Because somebody else has been doing that for 18 years. Right? It takes time to build that.
Coach, you mentioned how Brian would watch the kids as much as you like. How much is your trust in Brian Ward playing in your ability to kind of stay focused on that?
Yeah, unbelievable trust. Unbelievable trust. I believe that they do things right. I sit into some of the defensive meetings when we're out of the building, off the field. I can, get a beat on what they're doing. I mean, unbelievable trust. That's why I can do it.
Coach, how excited are you for Sun Devil basketball to start tonight, and will you be watching the game tonight?
Yeah, if I have time, I'll watch the game. Maybe at my radio show I'll watch. Maybe it'll be behind me instead of the big photo of me. I don't know why they put up. They could put the game for everybody to watch. That'd be exciting, right? That'd be a good thing. But I'm excited. I think Coach Hurley, he's got the fire in his belly, man, that you want as a coach, that you want to see, that you love to. As a coach, I love to see watch him coach. You see the buy-in in the portal for him. I mean, his recruiting class right now is freaking unbelievable. They're on a huge roll, and I only think this year can continue to build his momentum. But I love watching him coach. I love watching the passion and energy he has that he pours into the guys.
If scheme's not that important, how come the three dynasties of the last quarter century in the Pac-12 all ran them off? Warren Hanson, Cody, David Shaw, and of course USC.
Yeah, when I say scheme's not important, I mean are we gonna run like tricky schemes? I mean like the scheme's important from a standpoint of you have to be physical to run good schemes. There's no cute schemes that win championships. There's mindset schemes. We're gonna line up there and be Stanford of the David Shaw's area. We're gonna run the ball. Do you have to have good schemes and coach well throughout that mindset? Hell yes. You can't go out there and run dead plays saying we're gonna be physical and just run the dude over at the line of scrimmage. But you can have great scheme without physicality and toughness, and it doesn't mean anything. The thing you have to have first is the physicality and toughness and the grit and the detail, and that's when good scheme compiles on it, and that's when you become a really, really good football team. So sorry if that was misunderstood. Scheme matters, but culture, physicality is one. The scheme adds to that.
Do you think that you can have consistent, very high-end success if you throw the ball 75, 80% of the time?
No, me personally, I do not. I think you will have good games. You'll have good numbers, but I think at the end of the day, you got to be a balanced team. I know everybody has got different philosophies on that. My philosophy is you take what the defense gives you. If you have a physical team that can run the ball in good hat counts, you run it into good hat counts, and then you should have guys who can win in one-on-one scenarios outside. So regardless of what a defense does, good offenses just take what they give you. A good offense will run the ball for 280 one game, and then we'll come back and throw the ball for 390 the next week. And you can only do that and have that balance if you have the physicality and toughness that when a team gives you the box counts that you're supposed to run the ball versus, right, you can run it. Otherwise, every week, right, it doesn't matter the box counts, doesn't matter the numbers, you got to be a throw team, and then you're being dictated to.